And welcome back to the LooneyBin Podcast, episode 12. I'm convinced it's episode 13, but I'm your host, Preston. Joined with...
I'm John.
And I'm Tyler.
I'm Eric.
I don't know why the word host threw me off. I was like, what? I don't know why.
The host?
Anyways.
Unbelievable.
Have we never used that before?
No, we always have. My brain didn't log that term. Yeah.
Okay. And, sorry we're late, guys. 7:30 is always the goal, but it always just seems like we just get caught up. Today we were actually training wild Pokemon. So, yeah, you wouldn't believe it, but... Tyler, which one did you catch? I heard you caught one that was pretty sick.
I think I caught, what's his name? It's like Groot or something like that. One of those.
Oh, I think Groot's fine. Yeah, Groot's a Pokemon.
Yeah. A little Earth type.
Yeah, Earth type.
Earthy.
Earth type.
A little earthy, chunky.
Eric, which one did you catch? I heard you caught a good one.
I caught a...
What'd you catch, John?
A drowsy.
Drowsy. I was doing this.
I literally did catch a little drowsy upstairs right before the podcast.
Really? I caught a drowsy too. It was water type though.
Everybody's catching drowsies out here.
It was in a pill bottle.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, all right.
Just catching a
Let's
drowsy.
not talk Sorry, I said cool. Eric, let's not talk about it.
Well, guys, welcome back. Episode 12/13. We'll figure that out in post.
That's what
Great
it's
day.
for.
Great day to have a podcast.
That's actually another great conversation we should actually talk about. And maybe we should even ask the public, what is a great limit to a season?
a limit to a season.
A limit of episodes to a season that is like productive, and then you change.
How long are the episodes? Half an hour, 45, or an hour?
Well, I'd say an hour.
Hour,
40,
I'd say
like,
10. Half an hour, I'd say 20.
I agree with that.
Like
I'd
that's
say-
the standard.
But what's it in between with the 45? Have you ever watched a 45-minute show? That's worse.
Yeah, sometimes there's a
Yeah.
12-minute episode, or not 12-minute episodes, but like 12 episode seasons.
Of
And
what?
I feel like 30 and an hour. Just
Oh.
a mix. You get a mix.
I like the back-to-back episodes. I like where you get the hour episode. No, sorry, half an hour episode, right? You watch that half an hour episode, and then sometimes they do a special where those two half an hour episodes are paired together. Have you ever, like Criminal Minds when it's like broadcast on TV is more what I'm saying. It's like where you'd watch an episode, whatever, it's that half an hour slot of time, and then you'd get to the point where it'd be like, actually this is a back-to-back episode because it's the season finale. You get a whole hour of action, but really is only maybe 40 minutes with all the commercials.
I love cable TV.
Hey, I miss it. Low
Hey,
key.
honestly, I think they should bring it back. And I think
Bring
what
cable
needs
TV
to come
or what?
well, maybe
or
not
releasing
cable
episodes in
TV,
sequential order. Or
but the
like-
fact that I'm actually thinking more about the ads right now.
Okay.
Because as we watch,
You want to bring
Like-
back ads?
well, we still have ads. That's the thing.
Just the
you
time.
watch, like when we watch the NFL,
Right.
we watch FIFA, you watch any sporting event, there's still so many ads. But the thing is, they're all the same ads. When cable TV was bigger, there was a larger variety of ads.
Okay.
Like, I feel like I watch the same ads on game day
So you're
every
saying,
week.
You're saying if we are to have ads with these fucking sports, you want them You want them to be
Schmort.
diversified and
Yeah, I mean, there's only
You want
so
more
many
ads.
times that I can watch Snoop Dogg and
Andy Samberg.
yeah, and
Yeah.
Andy Samberg sitting there on the beach talking about Corona, and Andy Samberg making up horrible raps.
I feel like ads, like I agree with Tyler that ads should come back, but I feel like
What? What are
Well,
we
not
talking about?
come back. It's not coming back, but like
I think I
diversify.
So many less people are bothering to watch them or seeing them. It's no longer a part of their day. They got to
Right.
make them more worthwhile, you know?
Right?
Yeah.
How are you gonna watch the Super Bowl ads? Like those, that was not my favorite part of the Super Bowl. It's a big thing, like right? Watching the new Doritos ad, the new Mountain Dew ad, maybe GoDaddy.com.
You got Bud Light
If mom didn't switch the
or
channel, when that came
Budweiser.
on.
You got the horses.
Yeah, the Budweiser always the heartfelt one where the dog runs away and then the horse brings it back or something.
God, and the horses are beautiful, and it's just Christmas time.
And then you see the
banquet beer.
glue truck and
Yeah, and then you see the then you see the chaps in the ass. And, oh god, then you
Oh, wait,
realize,
that's
oh wait,
Brokeback
this is
Mountain.
channel 455. Oh, wait, that's not the game.
It was 7811 for us.
7811.
That was your porn channel?
Oh no, I thought you were talking about like NBC or Fox.
No, the 400s
Wait,
are always the porn channels.
7811?
78-11. So like ours worked as you had the base cable channel. Sorry.
So,
He's
here, I'll
tweaking.
explain actually.
He's
So
tweaking.
in North Dakota, electricity is a little different. They're tame cranked.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
normally
That's
the
like
78
your progress towards the next channel. So there's 11%.
Yeah, the 78 is channel 2, channel 78, but then there's 11 cranks that they do in order to channel
But
that
once,
right in there.
once you reach Grand Champ, you're allowed to access HDR.
Right. And then the elves actually turn into goblins. And
Yeah.
after that,
Yeah.
they get the ability to start the electricity with their fingers.
This is a crazy thing to mention, but just talking about channels and this and that. One time in retail store, my location went bankrupt, but Gordman's in the break room. In my location.
Are there any Gordmans left?
I think
Yes,
they
there
left
are.
one or
Yes.
two open.
I think they're in the south mostly, though.
They're
Yes.
probably run better than the one I was at. But anyway, I walk
kids
into the
running
break
wild.
room, and I don't know what channel it is. I don't know what the context is, but there's just live footage of like artificial like horse insemination, like the
What?
horse is like on one of those like mounting things
Yeah,
or whatever, whatever.
And they
do
were
to
like
collect
jerking
the,
it off?
or it's like a yeah, essentially.
they're just
And
letting it-
that's just what was on TV in the break room.
Hey, that was someone's comfort show. You know? That was someone's. I just put 8 hours in Gordon's.
No, literally.
I'm sitting down. I'm ready to eat my lunch.
I'm learning
Yeah.
about horses' biography.
Yeah, biography and biology,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
in one.
2/3 of the way through my shift, and you know what? This is what I need to pull me through.
Horse cum.
yeah, literally. Just get me through anything. No, so how it worked, there's a company called CSI Cable, which my dad still has the internet.
Okay.
I'm not gonna drop that. I almost did. That's just
Yeah.
for all our viewers. So CSI Cable was the difference between that and then when they did underground cabling, which is I can't remember what that's called, fiber cable, fiber optic, or whatever that's called for.
What?
You remember there's a switch, right, for cable, and then they started going underground
No, it
with
switched
fiber
off
optic.
of dish to
Yeah,
They have
yeah.
fiber optic.
There
Yeah.
was you'd had it probably too. It was just
Oh.
underground.
We were a satellite family through and through.
Well, that
until-
was after, wasn't it?
Yeah, the thing is, satellite was the big thing, and then they realized, oh wait, we can just do the same thing that we're doing with internet now, and just put it in the ground, and then it
Yeah.
What's the Google
There's something.
fiber stuff that's like glass?
that's fiber optic. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so CSI Cable was different than that. So then you just had your base channels. Channel 1 was the weird like weather, show your barometer, the precipitation, and then you had the local like come to the City of Lights parade on November, whatever. It was just a screen. It's just a slideshow.
Yeah.
loose,
It's just like
Oh,
ads.
Yeah, it's just a loose 60 FPS.
It's that-
We should bring
whatever.
that
It's
back
that
for the
base.
Hulu ads.
No, it's that base hotel channel.
Yes, that's
When you
exactly
turn on the
what-
TV at the hotel
Yeah.
and you haven't changed channels yet, that's what it is.
No, literally. And
That's
so then
awesome.
when you went up, Channel 9 was Fox, Channel 4 was CBS, Channel 11 was NBC. But when CSI Cable switched over to HD channels, they just added more digits to it, and then they dashed it to the original digit of it. So 78-11 was still NBC, but it was just NBC HD. You could go down to Channel 11, which was lo-fi. I'm sorry,
Oh.
no, lo-fi is not the right word, but no, it is.
SD.
Yeah,
Standard
SD
definition.
version of. So that's why I was just like, 78-11, which is 8s because my dad still runs with that. It's arguably the.
Now, what do you think was channel 78 before that? Because all the
Music.
higher up channels, like
Music.
70, 80s, 90s, those were all the Spanish channels for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
they were music for us. They were like weird, like reggae channel.
You ever watch those Spanish channels?
I
Just like
have.
turn on like a Spanish soap opera.
I watched the Spanish kids shows a lot just because I was like, what is this? I was just really intrigued.
Did you understand them?
No,
those
I didn't
Spanish
understand them. I was just like, it was just kind of a thought to me. I was like, some other kid that can speak Spanish understands this show and watches it like they're SpongeBob. Like, that was kind of my thing in my head.
See, I took 4 years of Spanish, and that was one of our things on Fridays.
You guys would watch a kids show?
I took 6 years of Spanish, but 4 years in high school that I took it. Yeah, we'd watch a Spanish like drama, and we'd have to answer questions that happened. It honestly was good because you wanted to watch the show, you're intent with it.
Wait, so they would continue the season or whatever? So you start on episode 1 of the season? And
Yeah, no, literally.
Oh my
I
God!
did
So
a
you're
little
like,
bit
I
of
feel
that.
like it's a great
Come
way
back
to learn.
next
Yeah.
week.
Rapids
No, it
with,
was great.
Whatever, Jensen.
yeah, Miss Jensen. Wait, what was that other teacher's name that did the fucking songs that we'd have to translate?
Miss Snitchkin?
Chapman?
Yeah,
we had
Miss
to do
Chapman.
that in my Chinese class. We'd have to translate songs
You
from
took a
Chinese.
Chinese class?
Yeah, I took 2 years of Chinese
When?
in high
Can you
school.
speak
At
anything
Waconia?
right now?
I could still count in Chinese.
Okay, count for us up to 10.
Oh, okay, hold on. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8
This is fake.
Sure.
This is fake.
Bing
E-
chilling.
Bing
chilling.
1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 sure. And then it just repeats. Jiu sure. Or sure yi, sure are, sure san, sure. So you'd say
Yeah,
like
you add
10
it, you
1,
tack it on.
10 2, 10
Yeah,
3.
you tack it on.
And then
It's like
when you
Spanish.
got to 20, then it would be like 2 10 0 or
Right.
2 10, 2 10 1, 2 10 3.
Oh, that's AIDS.
So I can count from 1 to 99 still.
Huh.
I don't
Good for-
remember the word for
That
100.
explains a
but-
lot, Tyler.
No,
What
it
is
really,
that?
it
How
really
does that
doesn't. That's really random.
Well,
what
actually-
other language does it offer?
French. I don't think they offer Chinese anymore. We got the Chinese teacher fired
Why?
What?
because she was so awful.
Oh, why'd you take her
Well,
then?
the first, we had Gao Laosher, but then he left because I don't know what the whole deal was. He was teaching at Mound and also at Waconia, and then suddenly he's a banker. He was a great guy. He was a great teacher.
It's just a money scheme.
I,
That's all
I
it is.
learned a lot from him. But then we had Bai Li Chen,
Okay.
and she was not a good teacher. Did not understand how to control a classroom at all. Probably racist. She did pick on the only black kid in her class a lot.
Was she of origin?
Yeah.
Of origin. What does that mean? It's like, is she like, you're like, is she Asian type? Is she?
Yeah.
But
white
yeah,
type?
she-
like, what are you asking?
No, but the thing is, she wanted us to make a play
Oh,
about Wukong, the monkey god,
yeah.
From the
and
Legends?
she,
Yeah.
yeah, from League of Legends.
He's a hard character to play, to be honest.
But she wanted us to make this play once, and she thought it would just make perfect sense if Bobby was.
Is Bobby
Wukong.
the black guy?
Yes. So that's when we started getting this little inkling that maybe she had something going on.
And he had to play Wukong.
Yep.
Bro,
We never actually
Waconia's
did this little
fucked.
play
Oh, why not?
because we derailed the class so hard because we realized that we could just mess around the entire time and she didn't know how to handle it. So that's just what we
horrible.
did, and then we got her fired because she was racist.
Oh,
So
let's go.
A lot of schools now that I'm seeing, and now that I'm just student teaching, a lot of people in the cities do immersions.
Oh,
My
yeah.
cousin
Yep.
does an immersion for their
Yeah,
kids.
so
he's in Spanish immersion.
Yeah, Spanish, French, German. A lot of these immersions are happening. They go through all throughout. And I was talking to a couple of students of mine, and they're completely fluent at sophomore year. They're fluent 100% of
Yeah, 'cause
French or Spanish.
you're so moldable and you're young. You just start out so young. My
I
cousin
would do that.
My cousin goes and they teach. My cousin's kid. They teach him Spanish, and I think that like the whole day is in Spanish
No, it
basically,
is,
and then
yeah.
he
Yep.
comes home and he speaks English with his parents. I think.
My cousin Espoir.
What is it? What did you just say?
Espoir. That's her name.
Oh, I thought you.
Espoir?
Okay.
That's
Uh,
true.
So my cousin Espoir actually,
What a name.
and also in like that family realm, they did like language camps.
Oh.
You ever heard of those?
No, I've never heard of
It's like the same idea, except you're there for like most of the summer, or like it could be a month or it could be like a 3-month program where you're there
just stay
and it's
there?
just you stay there, and it's just like a summer camp, except you only speak on the side of the language, and like that whole part of the family was big into it. So by the time that she was 18, knew French, Spanish, Chinese, had traveled all over, like fluently knew all these languages,
That's nuts.
just because she did it every summer.
Do you guys know anybody that ever did summer school? Do you guys ever do summer school? You did, John?
I think
did
my
every
brother
year.
had to. Once.
You did every year?
Well, yeah, to get ahead.
Huh?
What?
We were offered.
You
They
willingly did this?
Yeah, I did. In order
When you were
for-
in high school?
Yeah, so when I was in order for me to take all these credits, so all these college courses and like AP courses and stuff, and have like an easy load when I took AP courses, is that I took summer biology, I took summer
Was it like
history.
Was it at the college or what?
No, it's just at the high school. They'd had summer classes, so you'd go there, you'd finish everything off in 1 month. You finish the whole class in 1 month, and so
the
just
hell?
be credit.
J term.
An easy, like, not in, arguably it was a great way to learn. I loved it because there's this, you're involved with this for a month. You'd go to school from 8 to almost 1, and then whatever would happen, and then it would be for a month. You get the credit, you take the test, you do everything that they would do normally in the year. But some other people would take it because they were not,
Hey, they were behind.
yeah, they were older than us, but there's a few of us that would take it, like the
Yeah.
AP crew would take it so that we would be able to, because they're standards. Like they're like, you have to take that course in order to get to be able to take AP Chem or AP Physics or whatever. And I wanted to take AP like Chem, Physics, Calc my junior year, and then senior year take like the AP English and whatnot.
You couldn't just do that in school? Like you couldn't just take the class you needed. What class did you need to take AP Chem? Regular chemistry?
No, I just needed to finish out the prerequisites like biology and then anatomy.
Yeah, but so
You had to
So did-
take biology to take chem?
yeah, wait.
Yeah.
Huh.
Because you
Doesn't
have
make
to
any
take
sense.
biology.
Why would they not block off the amount of time for you to actually take biology as a real student?
No, you do, but it was going to be, oh, your sophomore year, you take biology.
Okay.
Well, how about I take it the summer before sophomore year so I can take another class instead?
So instead of taking the biology
I
and
took
moving your chemistry to junior year, you take the biology in the summer so you can take the chemistry your sophomore year.
Yeah, technically, that's like kind of the similar thing. But I took chemistry in my junior year, but the main reason was to do it is because like these classes, it just is free. You get it out of the way. You still learn. You get that A. And then also it leaves up times to where, oh, I only have 3 classes a semester besides like an extracurricular, which are AP courses, they're heavy at Jamestown. I mean, they're easy, whatever, but a lot of time for me to be okay with swimming and everything else, music
Right.
and swimming.
That's
So it
kind
was
of
just
huge,
a time
actually.
thing. No,
That
it's
seems kinda
goated.
nice, actually.
It was free. All you had to do was just, you showed up and you actually just paid attention. Like, it was amazing. I loved it. Because you just go there, and then I would bike to school, and then eat lunch, and it was kind of a fun thing. And then you could maybe do even fun projects that were like, you used a whole day to do a project. So then you would do like, it was a 5-hour like increment. So then you start a project and you finish it and you present it at the end of the day. Oh, that was amazing. I love that.
I wish they had that at Waconia.
Yeah,
For
that
us, it was
goated.
like, oh, you want to take chemistry before your junior year? Too bad. You can't.
Yeah, same
It
with
was
us.
like-
That's dumb.
There's no option to do it, beforehand or anything. It was just, nope, you have to take these classes in 10th grade, and you can only take those in 10th grade because you have to take the ones in 9th grade first, and you can only take those then. And
That's stupid.
The only thing that was accelerated for us was math. That was the only thing that you could take in advance, which was random.
I
Yeah.
took 2 math courses at the same time my sophomore
I think Eric
year.
did that too.
What was that?
John
I-
took 2 math
I
courses at the same
took
time.
geometry and algebra 2 at the same time, so I could, in order for me to get ahead, so I could take pre-calc my junior year, and then calc my senior year. But my buddy, his name's Colton Carlson, he's going to be a doctor actually. He took calc his sophomore year, or was it junior year or sophomore year? I don't remember, but he was taking calc way ahead. He was like, but he only way he did that was because he tested out of some. I think he took algebra 2, and then because we have accelerated, or what's that? Do you guys have accelerated?
Yeah,
I know.
Sounds
they
like
like
my-
switched up
what
the
my
math
brother did.
curriculum too, like in the middle of our middle school.
Yeah,
too.
like in the middle we were
It was
doing
like it's no longer algebra 1, algebra 2. It's advanced math or something.
It's like advanced algebra and math like problems or something like that. It was
Yeah.
some weird name.
Like proofs?
I don't know.
No, it was dumb.
No, there was a straight up jump. I don't know. If I was I kind of did summer school a little bit. The 6th grade after summer, or summer after 6th grade. I was in like the 1-up math class, and then there was like another level of like independent 2 years above, and then my math teacher in that class, like in the middle of it, was like, I think you should move up more to the independent one. I was like, okay, and then I did that, and then I like had to catch up for like the rest of the students that started on algebra or whatever it was.
I was gonna say.
But that class was such like, it was like 8 of us or 9 of us, and we would just sit in a classroom. There was like one teacher that would just be at her desk and like do nothing. Like there was no lectures, there was no teaching. You just had the book, and then she just like assigned, all right, this is the chapters you do or the problems you do for each unit, and then you like turn that in or something, or I don't even know. You just grade it yourself off the back of the book and just, I did work, and then you'd take the tests when you wanted to, but everyone was just like, it was like unlimited retries. So I'm like, you take the test the first time, it's like, oh, I got 32%. Now you carry over the 32% you got right, and then you take the next test and you retake the 70%. Oh, I got another 30% right on that one, and now I have a 6. And then you take another.
Oh
it just
God,
there'd be like, we were like, I remember it'd be like, I didn't do it too badly, but there were times where like didn't even study at all, didn't know anything, just like you just went straight into the test, just saw what you got off the rip, and be like, all right, I got 12%, and you're like, all right, let's just keep working our way up.
That's just infinite math glitch right there.
But then like that 6th grade summer, so like I wasn't able to fully catch up, go like double speed that whole year. So then it was like, oh, I have more tests and units to do over the summer. And then like I remember I went in for one, and I don't know how that went, if I did well or not. But then they like brought a test to me at home. It was just like we had lofty expectations.
I remember that you had to take a test at home, and I wanted to hang out with you.
We had like lofty expectations of like me continuing the test. Then it was just like, we gotta coordinate you coming into school. Someone's gotta bring you sure, you're good. Move on to the next one next year.
What? See, that is
That's incredible.
Like I have heard of like curves. Like curves I feel like that is similar to curves, because the first time we ever were introduced to curves, we took our first calc test, and I got like
curves,
like grading off a curve.
Yeah, grading off a curve, and I got like a 48%. I think it was like a 49, and I got the grade back. I was like, all right, I'm gonna kill myself. I'm gonna write a note out right now.
All right,
I'm
so
gonna
already
write the
edit that
editor,
one
I'm
out.
gonna write the paper.
Yeah. And so then when that happened though, and then I got back after the curve, it was a 95%.
Dang, I don't even know if we did any math curves.
That was the first time I was like,
school.
I don't understand. I went to the teacher. I was like, how are you curving this? And even in college, we had limited experiences of curving, only in like Dr. Bryant's courses.
That's actually why I failed calc in high school, is because we didn't curve.
curving.
And I was like, I would always just be like, oh, please, Mr. Wynn, just please curve this test.
He was one of the only teachers in our district that allowed retakes. Most of the other calc teachers at other school did no retakes on any of the tests.
I never.
Well, I still got a C minus. So
For my calc class, there was no curve, but she did make it so it was like 90 to 100% was an A, and like 80 to 90 was an A minus, and then it kind of went to normal grading from there down.
Oh.
But the thing with her class was there were 15 points a week or something like that.
That's so dumb.
And it was 2 tests. You do the multiple choice calc test, and you do the open response one, because this was the AP one, so she only gave us questions off of previous AP tests.
Oh, that's actually really good.
And then if you wanted points back, you had to do 10 homework questions and write out like how you got to, like you had to give your full reasoning,
right?
Like write a paragraph per question about why you got your answer and how it's right. And if you did 10 of them, you got 1 point back.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
So that's what it was every week.
You ever sneak the calculator into the no calculator sections?
I don't think I ever did.
I still have that calculator right here.
I did, Aaron.
Hey, somebody get this guy. Take away his GED.
Yeah, literally.
He doesn't deserve it.
GED.
The best part is that
Wait, how do you sneak the calculator in?
I don't know. You
You just have it in your backpack
it's
and
just
you
in your back. I mean, I didn't on the AP test, just like on the
the
high school.
It's just like everyone's watching it.
The high
Yeah.
school
Like,
test a couple of times, it's just like, it's like kind of in your backpack, or just like you're just, I don't know.
Eric, what
That's
did you
what I
get
did
on
for
the
my
AP
Chinese
test
tests,
for
actually.
calc?
Oh, it's so for the Calc AB or Calc 1, I got
Yeah.
a 4. And then for BC, I got a 3, and then my Calc 1 sub score I got a 4 again, which was funny for the U, because then Calc for
Your
credits,
sub-scores?
I triple got credit for Calc 1, or just like triple qualified, because I got a 4 on the first test, which qualified me for those Calc credits, and then 3 wasn't good enough to get Calc 2 credits.
No.
So they didn't give it to me, but they said that was good enough to get Calc 1 credits if I guess I did bad on the original test or something and didn't get them originally. And then the sub score, if that was high enough, you could also get Calc 1 credits from that. So I
You got Calc 1
I
credits
couldn't
three
get Calc
different
2 to
things.
count, but I got Calc 1 to count 3 times.
You know
Yeah,
what the
there you
worst part
go.
is I did the AP AB for Calc,
Mm-hmm.
and I got a 3, and Gustavus said,
Yeah.
I got
Yeah,
an A.
and I felt great on that. Did I not? I was like, I passed it. I was like,
Did he?
I didn't even give
I
a
don't know,
shit.
That was like me with
Yeah, I
the
wasn't
Gov
there.
test.
What, the golf test? Oh.
Government.
That one I got a 4 on.
I didn't take that one because I cheated my way through that class, so I thought that I didn't.
How do you
no,
cheat your
literally,
way through AP Gov?
Wikipedia.
Actually,
And my girlfriend was really smart, and I sat next to her at the time. So
Oh, that's a good move.
yeah,
Gotcha.
but
Yeah, no. Last other thing about Calc, I was hearing from my cousin before, whose math teacher was our good friend Will's mom.
Oh.
She was saying that someone in the class would just keep her tests on the desk, or so they'd be doing like the practice test the day before, then she would just have her test, the real test for tomorrow, is on her desk somewhere, and someone like would just get it and take a picture of it and send it to everyone in the class, so everyone knew what was on the test.
wait, and she was doing this on purpose?
No, just an act. I mean, she just like had it on her desk
Oh.
for like the next day or something,
Got
and
you.
someone just like would go up there or like move a couple papers around and go, "There's the test," and then so like no studying would happen a lot, and everyone would do really well in the exam because they'd like confer with each other
Yeah.
or just know ahead of time and check answers.
I mean,
and-
I was about to say that Gustavus also didn't count my college in the school science credit from St. Cloud State.
Oh, no.
which is dumb.
But that was that whole class for us, right? Remember? We'd be like whispering, like,
Yeah.
and like doing like hand signs and like nodding and stuff like that. Like we would sit in like these pods, right? And it would just be so blatant. And this guy, like Mr. Meyer, he was like the hardest teacher I ever had. Like he was just hard as fuck for no reason. But like somehow we got away with that with him because I think he was just old as hell.
Yeah, I was doing that sort of stuff the first semester, and then we didn't, and then I didn't have Megan anymore, and then I just like, okay, I gotta be a little bit more real myself.
Yeah.
Like I said with my Chinese test, my move was she gave us pre-tests that were like literally the same questions.
Mm.
And so I'd do it and I'd complete it, and then I'd have it on the floor next to me.
God,
'Cause
you're the worst.
For some reason, she just
I-
never cared about
I've
what
done that before.
papers we had sitting out on the floor, and I'd just take a little peek over. And
Oh, wait, the last thing I was gonna say about that Calc class with the cheating. So yeah, my cousin like would be in on that with the tests, and then had like a 99% in the class for high school grade, and I got a 1 on the AP test. And then
Oh!
she was like, I remember like Will's mom, her teacher, like was like, "What happened? Like, you're such a good student or such a high grade?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "I don't know."
Oh my god!
It's just crazy.
Imagine getting, but just imagine
just
them
not a
getting
good
that
test taker.
that AP
Yeah,
test,
I'm good on your tests.
which is
but-
arguably I thought was the worst.
What was
a
the
calc.
worst?
I thought the AP Calc was not as bad as AP English because that one was AIDS. The second AP English one, the composition, is that the composition or?
I don't know.
I
We
don't
took
know,
comp.
I didn't go.
We
there.
did
Comp is-
comp junior year, and then English
Yeah, I took-
senior year.
Oh, so it's AP English because I
But
took
it might
comp.
be-
I took
AP
comp.
English is junior year for us, and then comp and like literature is like senior year.
Yes,
It's a
you're
college
right.
class offered by the
Comp
U.
is
You're
like
right,
where you
you're
answer
right.
grammar questions.
Yep, that was the worst.
Yeah, I just went to the.
Yeah, Eric just went to
I
the
just went to
community
community
college.
college and just took a regular English class
That's
there.
what I did for Normandale.
So I never had to do freshman big writing class at the U.
I did children and young adults literature, and that counted.
What?
Yeah, it
Those
was
two
great.
together?
You know what I wrote? You know what I read
Yeah.
for that class?
What'd
What'd
you
you
read?
write?
Tale. I didn't write it. I
Exactly.
what I had to read for that class.
Arthur.
Tale of Despero.
No,
Never
way.
read that. Wasn't that a long
College
book?
level course. No, it's not a long. I mean, it was probably a long book when people read it in elementary school.
Yeah, it's not.
Hey, don't bash my reading
There's
level.
no. There's not even a deeper.
No, but like
meaning
I
to the
literally read
novel.
like picture books for that course. It was the easiest thing I'd ever done. I also did take a comp course, so That one we had to read Henry David Thoreau, which is horrible.
I don't mind that book.
What's
I
the book?
enjoyed that book actually.
What is it? Civil Disobedience?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
pretty good.
it was a bit dry.
No,
for me,
oh my
but-
god. It was probably arguably if you're reading it for entertainment, but you had to read it in increments of like per paragraph. But once you read it and you talked about it, I really enjoyed it because it was like a foreign language almost.
What's it about?
Civil disobedience is it's essentially just as like not humankind, but just
It's like
It's-
is it like
so
just theorizing the whole book?
No, he
No.
as a person liked the idea of living away from society. He thought that it was better. It
for
was more
human.
beneficial for humans to live on their
Yeah.
own and live off the land.
Oh.
So his whole thing was the civil disobedience of like not doing anything like directly wrong, but he was like big against like property taxes, things like that. Like he wanted to
it
just
was
live in the
random.
woods.
And ham sandwiches.
Well, no, he just wanted to live in the woods in his little shack and just like grow plants and have animals, like live on a farm that
It
was
was a
for himself
simpleton life.
self-sustaining.
essentially simpleton life, but you also have strong moral disobedience almost in that way.
He was a big anti-government guy.
Yeah.
This was a part of the children, young adult.
No,
literature.
this was the comp class.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
This
is a part of the
that was-
children's book.
It was like children's
Henry
books
David-
and that.
I believe Henry David Thoreau is also part of the AP comp. Like that's part of the books that you have to read for AP
That'd be
comp.
funny. They're like,
Could be.
yeah, here's Clifford, here's Geronimo Stilton. Oh, and
Oh,
by the way,
Geronimo.
your
Geronimo.
final
Civil
Stilton.
is
disobedience.
going to be civil
I
disobedience.
remember in third grade, you know, and they'd like break people into groups, like reading
Yeah.
levels
I
and
love
stuff,
that.
and you'd be
I
reading
love
different
that.
stuff, and somehow I started out in the like group that was like struggling with reading or needed help, and it was like picture books. It was like oh, these little like alien
You're reading
creatures.
Three Little Pigs.
Yeah, basically like, these little alien creatures came to life and they're like causing little havoc in a kid's bedroom or something. And you're like, yeah, it's like a big, huge picture book. And then I was just like reading that, and they're like, oh, whoops.
I
And
don't know
then,
why that's so
and, then,
funny.
and then I moved up, and then I was reading Maniac McGee.
Oh, Maniac McGee.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
There you
that just
go.
unlocked something. That's so weird. You just like look around you, you're like,
It was-
I'm not supposed to be
Yeah,
here.
it was like me, Corey on or whatever.
You're-
Latrice. if
You're in third grade.
I was like, what?
You're in third grade, so you don't even understand. Like, it just feels wrong, but you don't know why.
'Cause
You're just like,
that's what
I don't know. I just read this book
Did
in
you-
2 minutes.
This shit's sweet.
You want to know a funny story? So it was in my reading class with Mrs. Mosier. Her husband died, but rip. Anyways, it was in third grade. It was during the reading portion of it, and I stand up to answer like a comprehensive question. Really, it's just based out of a book.
right? Like basically, did you read it
You're
or
right.
not?
And so I'm sitting next to two people.
You had to
God bless them,
stand
they're
up to
great people,
answer?
but they didn't have.
Wait, what? What kind of wartime school is this?
Yeah.
That you just stand up and
I
say,
I know
stand up-
the answer.
yes.
Yeah. Well, it was
just
just-
this.
You don't raise your hand?
Well, it's because people got in trouble. We kept raising our hand when we didn't have an answer. So
It's 'cause-
yeah.
Did you guys think it was
Just 'cause
fun?
you
or
wanted to
what?
be
Well,
cool.
yeah, it was
Not
just
just
like
snap
call,
over
she
and
calls
over.
on here and it's like I don't know. And it's just like, I got you. Yeah. It's
I just
so-
wanted to be here. I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah. And so that there's right next to me is a person who has to go to Title I, which is the same shit. Is just where they just have just a really hard lisp, so they just kind of talk like they got like a little golf ball in their mouth.
Okay.
And they're like, "Why?" You know, they can't really read, but they can actually communicate really well. It was amazing.
Okay.
But anyways, that was the time during that reading. I answered a question. She points at me, Jonathan, that name's too long. I'm gonna call you John. And that's how my nickname John came from, was from that third grade class. And then when that happened, she called me John in parent-teacher student conferences. My dad goes, "What did you say?" Because he's like, "I named you Jonathan for a reason." And I'm sitting there, you know, in that small orange chair with that little hole in the back. You know, I was just like, "Oh God." He's like, "Well, she was like, I think it's a fun name to give him." And he was just like, "Well, I'll tolerate it." That's all.
Well, I'll tolerate
Use
it.
that line more.
Wait,
Yeah.
about those little chairs, though. Have you guys ever gone back and sat in an elementary
Yes.
school
Yes,
chair?
they're fucking tiny.
It's
I
But the
sat
thing
in
is,
them.
I never thought about that until I was like in high school, and we had to go for like pep band
So
to the schools, and then you
Yeah.
see the chairs, and you're like, what? They're
Well,
not
probably-
normal
By
size
then,
chairs.
you were an old lineman back then. You
True.
were
Oh,
fist
yeah.
and trombone while also just defending the quarterback. Like you're just bulky.
That was a big
97
boy.
protective instinct.
Well, we
Hey, we
I'd
had
draft
2
him.
years back to back undefeated, baby.
and you were part of neither of them.
No, I was.
You were on the
Oh,
bench.
okay.
I
It's because
thought.
it was our 8th grade and their 9th grade year. And
Oh,
we
let's
lost
go.
once our 10th grade year, and then I quit.
Oh, okay.
Our varsity team was terrible, though.
Yeah, I think I really got the scale of elementary school because our high school rec league basketball team, you get scheduled out like one practice a week, whatever, at a local elementary school before you play your game on Sunday or Saturday,
Yeah.
whatever. And so we'd be walking in there, and like the ceilings in elementary schools are like literally like 8 feet tall.
Yeah,
Like they
yeah.
are small as shit.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, I just remember like feeling like, wow, this is tiny. Like I feel claustrophobic in these fucking hallways. I'm like, what are we
Yeah.
doing?
And then you remember that it's for people that are 3 feet tall.
Yeah, literally.
With no AC still. I saw
yeah.
this year
Your
though.
school didn't have an AC?
Oh, baby,
Not-
you didn't have AC.
Oh my god, no,
we had
not
some rooms.
We had
or
fans
area-
running.
areas that didn't have AC.
we did in elementary schools and middle school. They still don't have AC. But I saw an upgrade just recently this year that they upgraded the middle school to. I think. Fun fact, I almost forgot about this. Is that our eighth grade year, beginning of our 8th grade year, we're sitting in Mr. Botner's class teaching biology, which is the driest fucking course I've ever taken in my life. He's I don't even know why he's a teacher, because he hated himself. But anyways, we took that course, and in the middle of that, it was about 4 days within the school year. So kind of like what for us, August.
Yeah.
They stopped it for a week or more, that it was half school days because of the heat. We had
Just
over
so bad.
it was so hot
Hmm.
just outside during that like end of August to September that they made it just half days. And
Ca-
Crazy.
It was just like
Yeah,
locking
yeah.
Like,
your
don't
kid
you
in the
remember
car.
teachers would be like excited, like, "Oh, I'm moving to a room that has AC next year."
Okay, you're right. I do remember that. But as a kid, I guess I just never registered that. I just was never uncomfy in my temperature.
Oh, it's
Oh, I
horrible.
was.
St. Paul doesn't have any AC nor windows, so it just is. You get really cold in the winter. Like right now, there's just drafts all over, or like right now, once it's first snowfall, I sit there with my jacket on almost half the time,
Jesus.
unless I'm conducting. But in the summer, you just sit there sweat. You just sit there, just like, and when you conducted, you'd have to just.
Guys, and our school budget in Minnesota is pretty actually good, I feel like, isn't it? Like, think about other states
Well,
like
yeah.
Louisiana or something. Like, you're just getting fucked
No,
on.
it's good, but like installing multiple AC units to a school that was built probably in the 80s or the 90s with much of the place, that money is like, why not we just save that money to rebuild it later on?
Yeah, I guess so.
Because they have no ventilation, like really.
I kept feeling like they kept upgrading our school right after we left. I remember they got the
Yep,
rock
I
climbing
feel
wall
that too.
in the elementary school right when we went into 6th grade.
That caffeinasium for the middle school.
Yeah, we
That's-
went into high school. Then they got a brand new gym in middle school. Then we graduated high school and they redid like the whole school.
That's why I got lucky my senior year. We switched the high school and the middle school. It was
Tyler,
the
yeah.
greatest thing that ever
You
happened.
you are probably the most, like Tyler's facility when he was in high school was probably the best out of all of us.
Senior year.
Oh yeah, senior year.
You
but-
also performed in that little auditorium in what is now Waconia Middle School, and that was,
Yeah, that's actually insane that was your high school.
yep. That was our high school. It was beautiful.
That's pretty gnarly.
Well,
Guys, you see that? This is so off topic, but
That's what we need.
I think we got to talk about it. That Indonesia is banning non-marital sex.
you know, I did see something on that, and it was just it was on my news filter. It was just on like Google News, and so then I went to World, because it goes to like your headlines and then goes to like World, and I was scrolling down it and I saw that. I didn't even bother to read it because I didn't believe it was true.
That's like the equivalent of like banning like
drinking
Oh.
water.
you. Yeah, it's like, oh, you can't. No
Off.
more Channel 5 news. It's like, how you gonna see that someone's doing that? You know, it's like no more eggs. You can't
Channel
eat eggs.
5, like, that's even easier to
Yes.
see
Yes.
than premarital sex. It's like, how are you like both gonna have sex and then just report the other person for having
Hey.
premarital sex?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's a job. You're now a spy. You're a sex spy, and you go
Yeah.
into like kind of like catfish them and like coax
it's
them in.
sting operations.
Yeah, it's like fucking what's that? Where they how to catch a predator, but it's how to
Yeah.
catch a like sex offender, but it's like a premarital sex offender.
I
I don't know. I feel like it's still got to be like you got to be really secretive about it because there's probably a lot of people there where it's really frowned upon. People care a lot if you're like you can't like talk. And then like a guy came over, we did this or that, and they're like, that one had this or that, or people
Right.
like,
I bet that's
True,
actually
everyone just
great,
turned
though.
into a government spy.
yeah.
But just imagine though,
It's
right?
the Red Scare.
It's
all over.
something that is like everyone's hush hush about it. You can't do it, and you walk into school that next day in Indonesia, and like, I just had the best sex of my life last night, and it's illegal. Just imagine that conversation.
Yeah, it's like Footloose.
Yeah, that's so hot.
Except with
Yeah.
sex.
And then,
yeah,
and
it's
then
footloose. Yeah,
It's
But-
Footloose of
Nate,
sex.
look up that thing for Indonesia actually, because I want to know the reason why. And
Probably
also
because
and-
they
what it's
can.
doing.
The reason
I think
why it's
the
probably
reason-
just because they can.
It's because they have a really strong, like, devout Muslim population.
Yeah, they have the biggest Muslim population in the world.
and it's very traditional.
Oh. Nate, what do you find?
I'm still reading it, but it says along with what you guys are talking about. So this this is a funny thing. So it also applies to foreign residents and tourists.
Wait.
It bans.
So you can't have sex there if you're not married.
So if you go there on vacation and you're not married, no
Yeah,
sex.
you're not-
Also,
you're not banging.
Well, Philippines has been on a don't travel list for the U.S. for quite some time now, though.
this is Indonesia.
Or Indonesia, sorry.
Oh,
Not Philippines.
it also
well, that probably makes sense.
it
But yeah,
also
it
bans cohabitation before marriage.
So you can't live together.
And then
Is
within
that like
apparently
familial too? Like if your house is only like 3 rooms and you have a big family? It's just all the guys got to sleep in one and the girls got to sleep in the other? Does it say that at all?
That's
I-
just,
I'm
that's just
still
Nate's
reading.
reality.
So what did they what did they pass this through? What's their form of government there? Is it like a monarchy?
Probably a sultan,
Or
maybe.
is it kind of like a parliament issue?
I think they're like
Yeah.
an oligarchy.
Either way, I would believe it. Even because they're so traditional that like I
Yeah.
can see people just saying, "Sure, fuck it, send it through," and I could even see, even if it's not even like voting or anything, it's just a king. You know, I can just see any of that.
Might be a theology
It just is.
or a what is that
Yeah,
government
I know what
type
you're
where it's
getting
led by a,
Theocratic.
theocratic?
Sure.
it
I
says
think that's what it is
there
when the church rules it.
there was
the-
a parliamentary commission.
Huh.
So they do have elected officials. Oh,
God. So they do have government. Wow, they're not so different from you and I.
yeah, yeah, true.
What's that guy's name again? Wukong?
Wukong? Yeah, Wukong. He's a melee champ
Yeah.
in League of Legends. Is he not a melee champ?
He's a melee champ and he spins you around with his stick.
Yeah, he is
He
like a
knocks
big
you up with his
staff.
stick.
Kind of like Donatello's, the pizza place, sting you around the stick.
What?
Yeah. But
One day John will learn names of things in Latin languages.
yeah. So one thing I want to talk about,
Yeah.
I'm excited.
which is so around this time, and even towards like Thanksgiving and like Star Wars Legos, but Legos drop their new sets.
Yep.
So I'm wondering, when is the point to when that ends? Like what? Like so, what's that cutoff? So you remember, like in Star Wars, they had SpongeBob. They're not making any SpongeBob ones anymore. Harry Potter's like here and there, only based on like content that's being produced cinematically. But when is this? Like, when's their stopping point from being like, okay, we're creating this new stuff, but all right, we're gonna cut this section of Legos off, and after a certain point, which in 6 months probably, we're not gonna sell it.
Well,
With
gone.
I don't
specifically
think they're
Star
ever
Wars.
yeah,
gonna
I,
cut
I
off
think
Star
I think
Wars.
Star Wars is different because like
Right.
with
Because
Harry
they will
Potter,
not
that's
stop making Star Wars
Yeah.
until the sun
it's-
stops rising.
exactly. So Harry Potter is
Right.
like a cut off show or whatever, a cut off series. You know, they're done
Right.
making that. There's only so many things you can make.
Fantastic Beasts
Yeah.
would beg to differ.
But
Well,
okay,
yeah, they came
but-
back for 3 more movies.
But see, what I'm saying though is just is like, okay, so they have Marvel. They started creating some Marvel stuff, right? The Avengers, and then they came out with a couple of Eternal sets. So like, what are they?
Who's getting the Eternal set?
See,
I was
That's
gonna say, who's seen Eternals?
it was horrible.
It,
You seen it, Nate?
I saw that one, and it was horrible.
Nate, would you get an Eternals Lego set?
No, I wouldn't.
Oh.
It was mid.
Dang it.
Yeah, but I would say like, so what do they choose? So like in their developer's office, I'm not even sure the right title for this, but in their developer's office,
I'm gonna pull up a picture of an Eternals Lego set.
yeah, you look
Get
it
my
up. It's
raw
a
reaction.
giant. It's a like
Get
a
a
giant
raw reaction.
robot.
Here, I'll get the picture up on the TV. for
Okay,
you guys.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
How much
Oh
do
wow,
you-
I see it.
But like the question that I just want to say is just is like, okay, so they see the movies that come out. How do they choose? You know, which one to go in after to develop a Lego
It's
set,
probably how much money
and then
they're
they
given.
stop.
Yeah.
Right, but Prince of Persia wasn't that much money, and they built multiple sets out of Prince of Persia, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Prince
but how
of
long
Persia.
ago was that?
What's
I
the
think
percentage
that's,
of Prince of Persia sets to Star Wars sets? It's probably like 1 to 1,000.
Well,
Yeah, they can
It's
spare a
the-
few
it's
Prince
the
of
same thing
Persia
as, like,
sets.
Indiana
Gyllenhaal had-
Jones.
had
There hasn't
the
been a new Indiana
star
Jones
appeal.
movie in how long? They just made a bunch of sets because they're like, well, we can just make like 10 of them, and then people buy them. And
Well, when the Indiana Jones came out, they made Lego sets and they redid them later on when the new Indiana Jones came out. The
With
one
Shia
with,
LaBeouf?
yes, that
Kingdom
one.
of the Crystal Skull?
Yes,
Never
the
saw it
worst one.
actually.
it's actually not that bad. The soundtrack's
it's
so good.
still the worst.
You see that they're
Yeah,
coming out with a
it is.
new Indiana Jones next
I'm
year?
excited.
Saw the trailer.
I'm excited.
Some
I think it's,
de-aged Harrison Ford.
I think it's gonna be a little blast from the past. That's what the trailer kind of gives me. Like maybe the Ark of
It's
the
a,
Covenant
it's a,
gets.
it's a prequel?
No, I think
It's
it's.
a little mix. I think
it's-
the main story is in now present day old Harrison Ford, but there's de-aged scenes, I guess.
Oh, let's go.
for the fans.
For
Oh,
the
I
film
thought,
buffs.
I thought it was like because I saw the Nazi dude from
The second
Raiders of the
movie.
Lost Ark.
Oh.
No, I thought it was that dude that got sucked up into the
Into the
Ark of the Covenant.
Like,
Oh.
And I was like,
Oh.
is there going to be some sort of because it's what is it? It's like the dial of fate or something.
Oh, yeah, what, is there
I'm wondering
time
if
travel?
it's going to be like a time thing. Or
Oh
maybe
my
like
God.
it brings people from the past up.
yeah,
or
well,
they
they're-
open
he's talking
the
about
Ark.
they were talking about
Yes.
like magic and stuff.
Just
in the trailer
leave
or
these
something.
movies to rest, please.
Yo,
Like,
why is time travel the new thing? Like Doctor Strange started, they're like,
Because it lets you do anything, and I think what makes these
Interstellar more or less
these
started
older
it.
properties the most
Aw.
I guess what the biggest idea they have or what might get people the most excited or sell the most things, they go, oh, we find a way to go back. We go back to the old
Right.
stuff that people
It's the
love the most.
nostalgia.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
the member
Nostalgia.
berries.
Yeah.
I remember.
yeah, it's the member babies.
It
Uh-huh.
doesn't make sense because Indiana Jones, I'm just scared for that because like why make that? They did National Treasure right now coming out with a new one. Don't even do that. Don't even drop
Coming
it.
out with a new
Just-
National
Yeah,
Treasure?
just
Yeah.
throw that away. It's probably
It's like a
Disney,
straight to Disney
Nick Cage.
Plus thing. With
Yeah.
Nick Cage isn't even in it.
No,
He's not?
But they reference him though.
They're
don't
making
they?
an animated Night at the Museum.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm in for that.
Just stop with all.
Yeah, but
this.
it's not even any of the voice actors. It's not.
Did
Even,
they-
it's
Oh.
none
Do you
of
think-
the
I'm out.
actors from the original movies.
Do you think that this used to happen? Like before streaming services like that? Do you think they used to
No.
recreate stuff?
No,
No, they're doing it.
Didn't
just
they
for the
recreate
it's
Golden
because
Girls?
it's so much cheaper to do.
Create
now.
what?
Golden Girls. You know
I
that
don't
TV
know.
show?
Polly Pocket.
With Betty White? That's like kind of
Yeah,
a
I
thing.
think they made
They
like
recreate. So there's like an 80s Golden Girls, but then there's like a 40s Golden Girls basically. And I think that's probably the only example I can think of that they've like remade.
I
They
don't know,
did
I've-
True Grit.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
True Grit. Had
True
a
Grit was
couple.
like old as fuck, and then they did one in like 2018 or something
That's
like
what
that.
I'm saying though.
That's
is that
still-
like
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
that's
that is
present
still
time?
like
I'm thinking of
2018.
something that
No,
has.
it was
like,
old
I'm saying that this
later.
like this
It was
fade
like
No.
2016.
this fad of like
Yeah.
recreating stuff is like a relatively new thing. I feel like bringing wrapping it around and bringing stuff back.
I even say that True Grit movie came out in 2010 or earlier.
I was gonna say
I'll
I'd agree
probably
with
say
that.
2012.
All right, Nate, look it up.
Yeah, I think you're right
True
about
grit.
that. I think 2018 is too
No,
late.
Yeah, but it felt like
2012.
2018 to
No,
Nate.
because we weren't allowed to watch it when it came out.
Yep.
But here's like the real thing is like why not? I understand making new content after old content, right? Like you have your foundation and you're trying to build something off of it just to see if it goes anywhere. So kind of like these, it's not like a pilot episode, but it's like a pilot movie. I feel like there's got to be some term for that, right?
Kind of like where they're like, let's see how this movie goes, and then we'll make Beverly Hills Chihuahua 2.
Yeah. No, literally though.
Well, that was a thing
Like-
sometimes with like Disney or like animated stuff. I know like
Like Kung Fu
creators would be
Panda or
like,
something.
Okay, we'll let you do
What?
your passion project or whatever. Or like the people who made Treasure Planet, like, all right, we'll let you do Treasure Planet.
A
If you
great
do,
movie.
If
Yeah,
you
it's
do
good.
whatever sequel or whatever thing they did
Or
for Disney
Atlantis.
beforehand.
Or what was
Wasn't that like a
animated one,
Finding
Atlantis?
Nemo?
Yeah.
Didn't they?
That was a good one.
I think the people that made Finding Nemo were somehow linked to Treasure Planet. It was something like that.
Sure.
It was some weird little connection.
I believe it.
But still, though, like I don't understand why they do that, because it's just like, okay, so you're hitting a specific generation almost with a
Yeah.
bunch of these movies, and like I understand why Star Wars, its longevity is going on, because it encompassed, like, that was built properly, right? 3 movies based on, then you go to the prequels, and then you add some sequels that are ass, but then you get, you know what I mean? Like, they have a better trajectory than like making another Indiana Jones movie when they saw what happened when they made the recent one. And
I'm,
that
I'm
didn't-
sure they saw
Because that's the thing.
600, 700
They're
million
still
dollars
gonna
when they
make
made
money.
that fourth
Yeah,
one.
because
John.
that's the thing. People like don't know whether it's good or not because they
Yeah,
haven't seen it. So they go see it because they're like, I love the old ones,
No,
and then it's shit,
yeah,
and then they go,
it's-
oh, that was shit. Well, I can't do anything about
It's
that.
just less risk and more profitable to
I
go.
know, it's
People are
just
familiar with this
dumb.
IP, and I'm gonna
It's
go
just
see
as
it again.
dumb in my
Transformers 8. I have my ticket.
Primal
I
and
have 2
Optimus
tickets.
Prime, which actually the new one.
Could be huge,
Let,
though.
let me talk about
I
this.
want to
though.
see the
Could change
gorilla
everything.
robot.
So I was
There's a
big,
dinosaur robot.
let alone
There's a gorilla, too.
so like
Medieval
Star
robot.
Wars is a big part of my childhood.
Yep.
Transformers was also, so I watched the old animated, I read on it, I did a bunch of stuff. And what they're talking about right now is that this new movie is talking about the descendants, right, of Optimus Prime and Megatron, which
He
goes
fucked?
to the primals.
He has a kid.
So wait, Transformers evolution follows the same sort of trajectory as human evolution?
Essentially, I mean, like in some way.
I'm
like,
gonna break grease. Like what?
No, it's
I'm
just
having an oil leak.
Yeah,
Well-
literally.
it's like the T-Rex is Megatron, a descendant of Megatron, and then the big ape is Optimus Prime.
The big ape. I thought that was Wukong.
No,
Wukong's in the
it's
new
Optimus
Transformers.
Primal, I believe his name is in the new movie.
Optimus Primal.
I'm gonna wipe her fluid.
I'm telling you, we should
Remember when
do
that one Transformer
after-
pissed all over that guy in the first Transformer shot?
Yeah,
that was a great
What's
movie.
his name? He was like a berserker, or he was the guy that was in the vehicle and he had the crane on it, and he would transform. He's like an army vehicle.
I'm not a
and
big
he's-
fan, John. I
Bumblebee.
can't say.
I don't know.
No,
All I
yeah.
know is he pissed.
Hey, Bumblebee is actually a good movie. I heard the
I've
recent
heard
new
that's a good
one.
movie. I haven't seen it though.
But the lore in Transformers is actually a lot better than what everyone knows from the movies, and I
Could
stand
you
by it.
explain the lore to me for a second?
Yes.
Yeah, could you give me the
A little bit.
Bionicles lore?
So
John, I'm gonna give
essentially-
you got a 1 minute pace. You got a 1 minute pace.
All right.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I just want to see
Just
what it'd
say
be like
1
if you
minute.
had to
So
go.
the
quick, very
Transformers
quickly.
are
1
ba-
minute.
are based on like Cybertron, right? There is a great animated series that was fucking spectacular. I've rewatched this series multiple times. And the animated series are so much better than the movies because the movies kind of just throw everything that was pre-made before that out, except for the name basis. And so the
Like the
human
Star Wars
relation,
sequels.
yes, essentially. So the Transformers,
Are
they
you
come
counting,
from a
Eric?
planet of Cybertron where they're fighting against the Decepticons. It's always an all-out war, Optimus versus Megatron. But at the end of the day, they get sent because they're escaping Cybertron because the Decepticons are taking over, I believe. They get sent to Earth through the escape pod and they land there and the Decepticons are following them. Now, if you say I'm wrong, I'd believe you. But I believe...
All right, well, you're wrong.
Like
where does
I am pretty darn sure that that's what happened, is that they were escaping from Cybertron, but he's taking over. So then they came to the Earth, but they're like morally good, so that's why they're protecting the humans from the Decepticons that are finding them.
And is the Chihuahua with the medical issues? Is that in the?
No, I'll
is that
tell
in
you
the
this.
original lore?
Transformers
Was Shia LaBeouf in the
Energon
original?
was arguably the best. We're watching
Wait, is that
after
what you
this.
called yourself?
Please, no.
Energon.
Energon is the. It was an animated TV show, and oh my god, that's so good.
No,
I'm just kidding. I'm telling you, it was good. It was a good storyline, a good action, and it was maybe made in like the early 2000s. Like honestly, early 2000 cartoons had more lore based than movies created right now.
So when does the Hoover Dam come in?
The Hoover Dam, that's not even
No, you don't
existing
remember
right
that
now.
scene?
The was it the Allspark?
Yeah. The Allspark.
I love when then they just they're like this exists or this is established thing in U.S. history, and they go, just kidding. The Hoover Dam's actually a cover up for the Allspark. They're like, oh, in the X-Men movie, guess what? JFK was a mutant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They love to do that.
That
They
was
love to
actually
just,
a
like,
good
put
movie,
shit
though.
in there.
That was a
Those
great
are-
movie. That's the
those are-
best X-Men.
Yeah, no, it is. I thought that was well made.
Hey,
What
but
X-Men
those
is
were
that?
Remakes?
Days of Future
Yeah.
Past.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
right. I
that's
think that's
good.
the only X-Men I've ever seen
I saw that
besides
was the first one I
besides
saw.
Logan.
I wanted to get back to the
Logan's a good
remakes
movie, too.
thing. Is I can't actually think of a series that had a ton of remakes, like forever, and it was Batman.
Oh, yeah, I
They
guess
weren't
so.
like consecutive movies. They were meant as like reboots of Batman with
Right.
like different
With-
people
yeah.
and villains.
It's kind of like James Bond.
Like they were meant.
Yeah.
But James Bond still, I guess, recently has been more story based. But even the old Sean Connery, interesting figure. Morally, I don't know where we stand on him. But anyways, even his
Not in
movies
high
were like
standing.
somewhat connected. I mean, they did kind of switch around between Bond, like James Bonds, and kind of rebooted it, but it still felt like a continual franchise.
The
But they
new
were
ones?
like remakes.
I feel like Batman though is a weird thing because Christopher Nolan's Batman, right? He was the director or producer, right?
Of the
the
previous
director.
trilogy.
He was
Yeah.
the
Yep.
director. Yeah, his like caps all of them out of the park, right? He did there's three movies of Christopher Nolan's one, right? He did 3 of them, spectacular. So, but then I'm thinking about the people who made the recent new Batman. I'm like, why would you make another Batman when it's a different actor? It's not Christian Bale. Christopher Nolan's not directing it, and I haven't seen it yet, and I really want to see it. And it looks like a really good movie, right? But why do that? Why waste all that
You
money?
know why, John?
Because
the
they
same-
didn't waste
let's,
money.
let's rewind the
$700
podcast for the
million.
viewers about 20 minutes ago or something like that, and Eric will give you the same exact answer.
$700 million.
Yeah, $700 million. That's why.
But they actually made a good one. They made
Yeah.
it, so it was worth it.
That's what I hear. It is a good one.
Did Steven Spielberg direct that one?
No,
No.
Matt Reeves, director of the newest Ape trilogy.
Oh, okay. Good.
I feel like that's different though. Like the new Batman was like Reeves had the idea. He's like, I want to do something different with Batman. Like I want to make it darker. I want to have this little spin, like have my own spin on it. And they agreed and they liked the idea, and so they went with it. It wasn't like they're like, oh, here comes the next trilogy. We want to set this up with a brand new actor for like.
Yeah.
Well, they were trying to get one off the ground with Ben Affleck for like 5
Oh, I
years.
suppose. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's garbage. So I think
Well-
they kind of just waited for a while until
Yeah.
someone came around with something that was actually good.
Well, the
Yeah.
DC universe is just kind of like drawing at straws here.
Sometimes I feel like it's hit or miss. Marvel, it's been like, it's kind of dips and goes
No,
up, and
it's
there's some
dips,
peaks,
yeah.
but it feels like it's pretty level. It's like, yeah, it's pretty good, but like the DC movies, I feel like that was the worst thing I've ever seen. That was pure garbage.
I
It's like,
walked out
that
of
was a
Aquaman.
banger.
I
Yeah.
walked out of Aquaman because I was laughing so hard because I couldn't take it seriously.
I feel like the DC movies, you get like 1 in 10 are good,
Yeah, like
and you
Yeah.
just
Suicide Squad
always
was
hope
great.
that the next one's gonna be good.
And the Suicide Squad was
I'm
arguably,
saying, hey, I'm talking about the Suicide Squad, not Suicide Squad.
but still though, like if you look at Batman versus Superman, I thought that was a good movie. I like honestly, like there's stuff missing if you weren't really in it.
Never seen it.
Never seen it either.
But then you followed up with Justice League, and you go, "What are we doing?"
No, it was just kind of like it was just you sat in the movie theater just kind of like what, and then it ends, and then the Snyder cut is kind of goated.
Yeah.
But
oh, I love
No,
that.
it's not. Nate
Was it
and I
Josh?
sat there one night and tried to watch the Snyder Cut, and it was
Did
just
you watch it in
we
black
were-
and white?
No, it's in color.
I think you wanted to have it in black and white too,
Well,
and they
either way.
said you gotta draw the line somewhere.
It
man.
actually probably would
Tyler
have
was trying to
looked
put it in
better.
black and white.
No,
Well, he
It
put it in a
probably
fourth.
would have
He put it in
looked better.
a
What the
4:3
Snyder Cut is?
aspect ratio.
I could imagine it being better in black and white because then you couldn't see how terrible their CGI was.
Yeah.
It was like watching like I couldn't comprehend a multi-million-dollar movie
Yeah.
looking that awful.
No, I mean, I'm gonna throw it back to a weird thing, but Nate was just watching Man of Steel, and the last time I saw Man of Steel was at Valley High Drive-In when I was about 12 years old.
No,
and we were
really.
pouring cheese dip on Devin's head, and that was the last time I saw it. At that time, it was an all right movie, whatever. I didn't
Almost
really,
as good as Tomorrowland.
yeah.
Rip. That's a disgrace.
Wait, who was the main actor in Tomorrow?
George Clooney.
Yeah, George Clooney.
Yeah,
That's
that
right.
was
And a
But-
horrible.
But I remember like not really paying attention to it because I like didn't really get Superman.
There's cheese going in.
and-
There's cheese,
yeah.
cheese shenanigans.
So I sit down with Nate and I'm like, Nate, this is such a bad movie, and Nate's like, yeah, it's fine. Like I'm having a fine time, and like we keep watching it, and Nate's like, I feel like the more we watched it, the more you're just like, God, what is this? It's just like and I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. This, like Tyler said, the CGI was so bad, and like there were all these scenes that they were just like copying out, and like
Yeah.
I don't know. it
Have you
was,
seen
like,
the original
terrible.
Superman?
No.
You need to watch the original Superman because I watched that when I was a kid with my parents, and I actually appreciate that from my parents. They had me watch the original stuff before.
Is this you about to say that you liked Man of Steel?
I liked the actors in Man of Steel. I thought it was intriguing because General Zod's also in the original Supermans, and so like I thought it was a interesting movie. I liked how they showed emotion in Superman a little bit. I was lost though as well.
Yeah, I remember from the
like
movie,
like you're just kind of like you understood the lore, but you just kind of like, why are we doing everything in one? Like in a 2-hour movie.
Why have we leveled the entire city?
No, literally. No, literally though. It's just kind of like, why are we on an alien space? Like, wasn't that in that movie where he's like on an alien ship and he's trying to get out of it, right?
In Man of Steel?
Are we talking
Yeah.
about Endgame right now?
Are we talking about
We can
Ender's
talk
Game?
about any superhero movie, like just like very
just-
vaguely.
He
Yeah,
was in the
like-
spaceship,
Yeah.
and they leveled
Like,
the city.
Why
and-
don't we talk about the 5 minutes
There's a
that
sky
Captain
beam.
Marvel's in the Endgame movie, and then she comes in and just clears the whole plateau, and then we're good.
Wet blanket to put out the fire. That's all I'm gonna say.
A wet blanket.
Yeah.
All right, and there's the Eternals Lego set right there, guys.
Wow,
Did you
that is
see
Look
the
at that.
biggest
Did
piece
you
of
see
dog
that?
shit.
That is
Slightly
a
erotic though.
horrible
That's
Lego
slightly
set.
erotic.
But the worst part is that we never answered the question that I posed.
You ever just
But-
look at your minifig?
Yeah,
like,
Rule
what if?
34 Eternals Lego set.
But to bring it in
Lego
full
minifig.
circle is that some of these Lego sets continually every year they go up in price. So I'm guessing that a price that I bought when I was 10 years old was like a $15 to $12 battle pack, which is you got like maybe 4 to 5 minifigs with like a small build of a building or like a weapon or a ship, right?
Yeah, it's like an NFT.
Yeah, really. Now it's about 20, right? It's going up 20, 22, 25. What is it going to be in 10 years? Is Lego might be the most standing business, arguably, that is just continually putting out product that they can literally raise their price. No one would give a shit. If they raise their price $10 from this year to next year, they would still buy it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of these streaming companies are finding out the same thing, right? They're like, we're just, people like need us now to get their
Yeah.
content.
Legos
so they
are
just say, fuck it. We're just gonna
inelastic good. Is that the right one, Tyler? Is it
What?
elastic or is it inelastic? Someone in chat, tell me what's the right term.
Yeah, where's the AP
Elastic
econners?
or inelastic?
Yeah, it's an econ term.
it's an
Where it
econ
doesn't matter
term.
what the price
I
is.
didn't
You're gonna
take
have to buy
econ.
it, like
I took
gas.
econ, but I can't
You guys
tell
didn't have to take AP econ?
I took AP econ, but I can't tell them what.
I never
it
took
is.
econ.
shit.
Fuck that
I think
class.
another thing with Legos is that raising the price also turns it into like a luxury
Right.
item, and now it's like a collectible. Because if they kept it low, you like everyone would just think of it as like
Kid's
it's just
toy.
a toy. Yeah, it's a kid's
Yeah.
toy.
Something everyone can have and afford.
Right. But like now
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
Toys
it's
R
something,
Us.
it's
Now it's
something
the
that
equivalent
every
of a
child
Prada
could
purse.
enjoy and
There
be
you go.
happy and be excited to get. And now you're lucky if you get
Lego-
one once every 10
Legos
years.
is classism. I'll say it.
Well, and what
It
that
really
same
is.
thing that Nate said though is that like even now like the minifigs that you get from sets previously, their cycle stops after 6 months. So then price of that, it's around 6 months or something like that. So say you bought a set now, a brand new set.
Okay.
It stops, reselling after like, oh, it's, whatever, regardless on like maybe the sales to potentially just is like, we're moving on to something else, right? They stop putting that out there. So then it goes up. Oh, you got that guy that bought 5 of them on eBay and now he's selling them for a higher price. So the only way to get that is if you buy off of like, not scalpers, but it's essentially the same like ideology. And so then after you buy that, you now have a minifig that turned into from a $1 value to almost $8 value, because once they stop that cycle, it's crazy. So then there's places that where you're able to buy these minifigs that you're paying almost $10 just for one minifig specifically. But now that 3D printing came in, that other companies are coming in and be like, hey, you see Captain Rex that Lego brought to whatever the main brand made of Captain Rex, the Clone Wars trooper from Star Wars? We're going to make you a better version of it, and we're going to 3D print it for you to have a better version of it, and we'll sell it to you for maybe less. Which I don't know how they are able to do that.
Tyler, what's your raw reaction to this image?
What the fuck is that?
Is it Eternal?
Well, see, the thing is, I haven't seen this.
It's an Eternals Lego set.
But
Yeah,
I can't
and with
imagine
that
wanting to
reaction-
build this thing. It's
Well,
like
based
a
on his
weird,
reaction,
gross
any viewer will
robot
be able to tell
dog.
what he's looking at. He'll know which set he's looking at.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna know what set I'm looking at. Nobody knows what this is.
Yeah. We'll figure out what Tyler's
yes,
looking at
my favorite
in
Marvel
the-
character.
in the after
Athena.
hours.
Because they couldn't just
Tyler,
name her Athena,
Shut
cowards.
the fuck up. they say that every 6 months someone reinvents Christianity on Twitter. I feel like every 6 months we have a Lego supermarket econ talk. So thank you for joining.
I wish we did.
It's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun.
Yep, exactly.
And that's
And
what Tyler ends the podcast every time he's on the podcast.
that's right.
God bless.
So follow us on Instagram and TikTok at LooneyBin Productions. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to us on Twitch. We have podcasts up on Spotify. And catch us here every Tuesday at 7:30. Podcast is live on Twitch. Stay tuned for the after hours in 5 minutes.
Kisses.